Imagine the vibrant coral reefs with schools of reflective fish and the rows upon rows of mussels and barnacles on the rocks at low tide. Now imagine a world where none of that exists. Is that the ideal world? Is this the place you want to live? This is what ocean acidification does. It kills off coral, shellfish, and plankton. To stop this, you must join in this fight.
Ocean acidification is a result of chemical reactions that take place when the global ocean absorbs carbon dioxide, CO2, from the Earth's atmosphere. The CO2 then gets turned into carbonic acid. Carbonic acid slows down and prevents the growth of calcareous shells, even dissolving them. Coral, oysters, mussels, sea snails, and even some plankton are examples of calcareous shells. Right now, in some places, it takes the ocean only 48 hours to dissolve an oyster shell. Scientists have established that ocean acidification will affect all primary producers, from microscopic phytoplankton to giant kelp forests, as well as higher trophic levels, including coral reefs, shellfish, and fish. Another major contributor to ocean acidification is overnutrification. This is caused by nutrient runoff from things like industrial farms, cities, and untreated sewage. These nutrients cause blooms that absorb most of the CO2 in their immediate environment. This was considered a positive effect until the algal blooms died off and released more CO2 than they had consumed. In 2007, all along the west coast, almost every oyster larvae, or its seed, died. It took an entire year for the oyster industry to realize ocean acidification was to blame for the oyster's demise. At this rate, by 2025, the Pacific Northwest shellfish industry will lose an estimated $1 trillion. Entire coral reefs have been found bleached or turned white by ocean acidification. Some reefs have even dissolved completely. With coral dying, fish are losing habitat. Shelled plankton, like butterfly plankton populations, have also been found in significantly lower numbers. And because they're at the bottom of the food web, this will have long-term effects on the entire fishing industry. Ocean acidification also causes anxiety in fish and weakens their sense of smell. Studies have shown that fish act increasingly more anxious in today's ocean acidification levels than in pre-industrial pH levels. With dampened senses, they will die off faster, which will upset the ecosystem even more. By the end of the century, all coral and shellfish will have gone extinct. The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, and Congress do not regulate or monitor ocean acidification or overnutrification. This has the attention of environmental groups such as the NRDC, Natural Resource Defense Council, and the Center for Biological Diversity. Many lawsuits have been filed to force the EPA to acknowledge these issues. However, these lawsuits have yet to change the EPA's stance, and the problem continues. Laws like the Clean Water Act have been proposed, but it would require considerably more than what is outlined in the Clean Water Act to make any difference. There are articles that state that ocean acidification is non-existent. However, their claims are not confirmed by standard research models and do not contain any valid citations. Conclusions of the experiments were given without the experiments themselves being shown. Without proper support or evidence, the observations and experiments these articles claim to contain have no verifiable data, and without clearly defining the research model or the design of the experiments cannot be recreated. Therefore, these articles' findings are nullified as legitimate evidence. People like Andrew Lenton, an oceanographer at Australia's Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation, have tried finding solutions. He thought of chemically manipulating the water on a basket, which engineers could use to reverse ocean acidification. This plan, known as enhanced alkalinization, would reduce acidification and counteract warming. Lenton then shared his findings at a recent scientific meeting in Portland, Oregon. Many solutions to solve ocean acidification have been proposed, including geoengineering strategies such as pouring lime or other alkaline minerals into the ocean. However, global cooperation would be required for such an undertaking. Cooperation and sheer resources necessary to enact any of these proposals have left them, as of yet, unfeasible. Since there are no long-term artificial solutions yet, humanity needs to work together to the best of its abilities to solve this.
Right now, there is no solution. But what we can do to fight ocean acidification is to persuade our leaders to reduce, if not halt, all CO2 emissions, cease nutrient runoff, and petition against environmental harm in general. We can act as a community by buying locally sourced food, not wasting water, turning off the lights, and using public transportation. These are just a few of many things we can do to reduce carbon emissions and nutrient runoff. We can also join a local environmental group to help make this problem more widely known. If no one tries, no answer will come. Humanity must rise to the challenge to save the ocean, to save the Earth.